Donald Trump's health is going downhill, and that's not just speculation or rumor. That is what the evidence is showing us, and it's right in front of our eyes. Since entering the Oval Office, Donald Trump, who is 79 years old, making him the oldest president in American history, hasn't just been spotted with swollen ankles, he's also been spotted wearing makeup on his hands. And not his normal spray tan mishap on his face, but his hands. During his visit to the People's House Museum in Washington, cameras caught a large, pale patch of foundation smeared across the back of his right hand. As you can see, it did not match his skin tone at all, and also, it did not blend well either. I mean, it looked like someone set their Instagram filter to eggshell beige. And then, later that same day at a World Cup event in the Oval Office, Trump spoke with his left hand folded tightly over his right hand, almost as if he knew there was something to cover, but when he finally did stand up, the makeup was very obvious. And this wasn't the first time either. Back in February, during a White House meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron, Trump was already spotted with makeup on the backside of his hand. And more recently, during meetings with European Commission President and UK Prime Minister, the same thing popped up again. At this point, it's not an accident, it's a pattern. So what's the official word? Well, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt finally addressed it back in July, but only after being forced to comment on both the makeup and the swelling in Trump's ankles.
Recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy.
So let me get this straight. Bruises from aspirin caused by shaking hands too much. Really? Because if aspirin bruising really is this bad, maybe CVS should start selling foundation in the pharmacy aisle right next to the pill bottles. And also, back in February, I noticed that his bruise looked exactly like the bruises that he had previously had on his right hand. Here's Trump holding newspapers back in August 2020, and here's Trump with Elon in December 2024. And then I asked a simple question that caused MAGA to freak the out. Is Trump hiding a medical condition? Is this why he would not release his medical records? So when it came to Trump's latest health cover-up, the internet noticed, especially medical professionals.
The president's congestive heart failure is getting worse. I'm a home health physical therapist with a doctorate in my field. I see congestive heart failure patients on a daily basis. The reason I know that he has congestive heart failure is because of the swelling in his feet and ankles. And the reason I know it's getting worse is because he's sitting behind the desk on camera now. He lashed out against MSNBC for giving him hash about his ankles. This is how we know that something is true, because it gets to Trump. Remember recently where he was talking about going to heaven for some fucking reason? He says, people said I'm not doing very well. I don't think he's talking about the media. I think he's talking about the doctors who are treating him. The only reason his health has been maintained at all is because he has the privilege of getting IV diuretics, spironolactone, Lasix, Bumex, something like that. That's why his hands have been bruised and covered with makeup. Badly, I might add. We know that it's getting worse because he knows he cannot hide the degree of swelling. That's why he's sitting behind the desk. Oh, he also has chronic kidney disease, which is also contributing to the swelling in the feet and ankles. I can't tell you how many times I have seen a patient in their home because they were hospitalized for AKI, or acute kidney injury. And the kidney injury was caused by nephrotoxic medications, namely diuretics, spironolactone, Bumex, Lasix. The president is definitely getting sicker, and we know he's not going to change his diet because he's such a fucking idiot. I think he's going to be around for 6 to 8 months tops. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
If what this person said is true, that makes the White House spin sound even more like smoke and mirrors. And people on Twitter posted, that cover-up job means at least someone on his team is fresh out of to give. And I said, Trump needs a new makeup artist. I mean, let's be real, this cover-up was about as subtle as Trump's handling of the Epstein files. Another person posted, what the hell is going on with Trump's hand that he would think this slathered mayo makeup looks better than what's under there? And here's one final post. Trump having makeup on the back of his hand just looks like my hand after using it as a palette for my makeup/white base. When your health cover-up gets compared to a Sephora clearance bin, that is not a win. And the makeup isn't even the biggest problem. Again, just last month, photos of Trump at the FIFA World Cup showed his ankles visibly swollen, which caused the White House to admit that he had been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. That's a circulatory condition where the valves in your veins stop working, blood pools, swelling worsens, and over time it can lead to pain, ulcers, or worse. The Cleveland Clinic lists the top risk factors as standing or sitting too long, being overweight, and being older. So Trump is 79 years old, clinically obese, only eats fast food like McDonald's, and spends hours at rallies or sitting in a golf cart. I mean, he's basically the condition's poster child. Some days, your brain needs a vacation your body can actually afford. That's where IndaCloud comes in. You juggle the chaos, you answer the emails, you even go outside sometimes. So yeah, you've earned a better way to unwind. Enter IndaCloud, federally legal THC in the form of gummies, pre-rolls, and flour, designed to turn hanging on into fully chilling. So if you're 21 or older, head to indacloud.co and use code GABE to get 25% off your first order plus free shipping. That's indacloud.co, code GABE, 25% off, free shipping, just a better vibe in your mailbox. The first time I tried IndaCloud, I was not trying to have a night. I was just burned out and curious, but one gummy later and I was vibing on the couch watching cooking fails and forgetting why I was even stressed in the first place. No panic, no next day haze, just good sleep and better energy the next morning. IndaCloud has everything you can think of: gummies, pre-rolls, and flour. And with all the headlines in the news over the last several months, their Bliss Sleep gummies have been exactly what I've needed to unwind and get a perfect night's sleep. Plus, the elderberry flavor is pretty tasty. It sounds too good to be legal, right? But it is. IndaCloud's products are Farm Bill compliant, third-party tested, and made for grown-ups who want the buzz without the need to drive 25 minutes to a dispensary. Whether you're chasing deeper sleep, better focus, or just some peace between streaming marathons, this is how adults get elevated now. So if you're 21 or older, now's your chance to float above the stress because IndaCloud is giving all new customers 25% off their first order plus free shipping. Just use code GABE or click the link in the show notes to claim your discount. That's indacloud.co, indacloud.co. Use code GABE for free shipping plus 25% off your first order. Fill out their quick survey when you order to support this show and make your week way more enjoyable. All thanks to IndaCloud.
President, you said mild swelling in his legs. Is it causing him any discomfort? How are you treating it?
Nope. No discomfort from the president at all, and you probably all see that on a day-to-day basis. He's working around the clock.
You sure about that?
Now, Caroline Leavitt has insisted that he is not in discomfort, but when asked about treatment plans, lifestyle changes, or preventative care, silence. And yet, after Trump's physical in April, White House physician Captain Sean Barbarella declared him in excellent cognitive and physical health.
Sure, Jan.
Apparently, excellent health includes swollen ankles, bruises covered with foundation, and a man who has completely lost sense of reality.
But then he goes on television and says, oh, Trump is a dictator, he's a dictator. And a lot of people are so the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime.
What?
These people are sick. There's something wrong. So we send hundreds of millions of gallons of water a day into the Pacific Ocean. They turn a valve, and the valve heads out, and we turn the valve back. I actually had to do it using force. We turned the valve back, and now they have water, but not as much as they should have. Because they should, and I'm telling Gavin Newsom by this conversation right now, turn the rest of the water on. Turn it on.
A May Economist YouGov poll found that 45% of Americans believe Trump hasn't been transparent about his health. That's nearly half the country looking at him and thinking, yeah, something's up. And when Leavitt was pressed on whether Trump's doctor would take questions, she said, but again, if there's nothing to hide, then why are you literally hiding it under makeup? Presidents covering up health problems isn't new. Wilson had a stroke, his wife quietly ran the country, FDR downplayed his paralysis, and Reagan's team brushed off early Alzheimer's. But Trump is different. His whole brand is about being the alpha male, the strong man, the healthiest president in history.
And you know when I fell in love with him? They said, who's the healthiest? He took care of Bush, Obama. Did anybody ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? Yes. Took care of Obama, and he took care of Trump. And they said, who's the healthiest of those presidents? And he said, without question, it's Donald J. Trump. And I said, I love this guy. Ronnie Jackson.
So when the reality is bruises, swelling, and chronic venous insufficiency, he covers it up. With makeup, literally. And that is the real danger here. Authoritarian leaders live and die on the illusion of strength. Putin rides horses shirtless, Kim Jong-un is filmed climbing mountains, and Trump, he's dabbing foundation on his hand like it's a TikTok makeup tutorial. Because in their world, weakness isn't just medical, it's political. That's why they all lie. That's why they recycle PR lines instead of telling the truth. But illusions always break, and when they do, the fallout is typically worse than if you had just been honest in the first place. So yeah, Trump's health is going downhill. The swollen ankles, the makeup, the recycled press statements, they're all evidence of a president whose body is betraying him. But the bigger danger isn't the condition itself, it's the cover-up, which is just another cover-up in a very long list over the last 7 months since entering office. And if Trump and his team are willing to spin aspirin bruises as excellent health, what else are they lying about? Because at the end of the day, the White House isn't just covering bruises, they're bruising democracy. Thanks for watching What Was That? If you want more episodes, articles, and breakdowns, go to whatwasthat.show. Join the community and become a paid subscriber today. It's just me behind the scenes, so every bit of support really makes a difference. And if you'd rather listen on the go, you can find What Was That on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. Until next time, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?